Welcome back for part 1 of a brand new episode of Jori Sports Stories. As always, I'm your host Jori, and on today's part, we break down week 5 in the NFL. We cover some notable news and what to look for in week 6. We also discuss we have some movement in Jori's jacked up tiers. We go through our headlines and more. This is the NFL segment of this week's episode, so you might want to tune in, sit back, turn your volume up, and let's get it. All right, like I just said, today's episode is going to be, this part of the episode will be all NFL. And we got plenty to discuss between my team's inconsistencies, the Cowgirls getting little girled, Sean Payton and Bill Belichick are struggling, and more. Plus, we give our weekly breakdowns, our predictions, and this week's version of Jori's Jacked Up Tears. So, without further ado, let's get it. Alright, it's 9:30 at night. Let's get into it. First, some of our latest headlines. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that I'm bringing back Who's on the Grill because I got some things to say. It might sound a little redundant, but, whatever. It'll be something you want to listen to. Regardless, latest news and headlines. Sean Payton struggles. He's on the grill. I'm just going to go ahead and spoil that. I might just go ahead and get that out the way, though, because I just got a rant. Because when it comes to the Denver Broncos, it's so much that's going on, right? Like, if you look at, they're not playing very well as a team. Russ has his moments. Like, the last game was just pretty much pathetic. It was just pathetic on Russ's half. The defense held Kansas City Chiefs to 20 points, and Russ gave it away. He wasn't seeing the field again. We were seeing the bad again. And Sean Payton had no answer for that. And it's kind of like karma. So, as I get into this, welcome to Who's on the Grill, impromptu switch. Karma. It's absolutely free to be a humble, good person. It's free. It's very free. It's very much free. And life comes pretty fast, which is why you should be nice to people instead of ripping, blame deflecting, and dodging questions and being defensive when you know that you're not doing too hot right now, sir. You're not. He knew it would be a challenge, but he didn't have to. I bet he didn't have this up his sleeve. I bet. Here's the issue. Hold on. Let me pull out my notes. Here's the biggest issue with what's going on in Denver. Let me school you a little bit. They have an outdated system. It's very archaic. That gives minimal success at this point. Him and Rush ain't really, their styles of play and styles of coaching isn't really meshing. Have you seen Russ look dejected and like whatever, man, like he was on the sideline on Sunday? Have you ever seen that? You've managed to turn a playoff caliber defense into absolute garbage juice. And now that you're trying to offload these contracts because you're realizing that they're not doing anything worthwhile for you. All right, Sean. And Russ is taking the heat of the blame for the head coach and the offensive genius not adapting to the times. Not to mention the fact that he attacked Nathaniel Hackett for pretty much no good reason. So, yes. All of this is karma coming back to bite Sean Payton for being a prick. He's always been like this. He's not doing a very good job. He's struggling to adapt. And his personality, that abrasiveness, is not going to work. His players ain't stunned him. You can't tell me Jerry, Jori, and Sutton and them stunned that man, because they're not. They probably acted like that so they can get out, if we're being completely honest. Next, since we're doing the grill segment this early in the segment, and we're going to get me started, Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons. Now, Micah Parsons is the last athlete that needed a podcast. I'm going to go on the record and say that. The absolute last. You mean to tell me that it was personal due to a shirt? Not that being the same team that's evicted y'all from the playoffs for the past 2 years. It was a shirt that made it personal. You can't inadvertently call out your coaches when you didn't do much the last 2 matchups. You've met your match, Mr. Parsons, each of the last 2 matchups. We've barely called your name. That's a fact. That's not fiction. That's a fact. Also, it wasn't that close. We'll get into that in a second because he did say something along those lines. The 49ers sat their starters in the fourth quarter, so it really could have been much worse. It wasn't that close. Micah, the whole of Dallas need to stop puffing on their own cigar and be realistic and stop being delusional. It was close. In what universe is 42-10 close? Huh? Like, what universe is 42-10 close? It should have been worse. And you can't sit here and go on a podcast fresh off of a game and just rip. Especially when you're not seeing both sides of the equation. You're over here saying that they weren't preparing you and da-da-da-da, which may be true, but you were rendered ineffective. Wake up and smell the roses. And stop being delusional, Mr. Parsons. Stop being delusional. And Dak. Dak is also on my grill. Because I don't know how many times we have to go through this kind of conversation when it comes to with Dak Prescott. Dallas is not, bottom line, Dallas is not going to the Super Bowl with Dak. Heck, they can't even get to the NFC Championship game. He's too inconsistent, and when the light shines brightest, regardless, his play gets very dull and dense. So, that's not conducive to making a deep playoff run. That's conducive to front running, and when I have to actually play well and it's all on me, I fold. That's what that is. Put your trust in Dak and he'll fold. Sorry, but that's just the truth. Now that I've gotten that out the way, 1 second. Going back to my headlines for this week. You know, I gotta have my notes, so give me a second. I'm gonna be doing some flipping. Okay. Belichick struggles. Again, it's with these older coaches with these older systems that are having trouble. The system he runs is outdated. There's no new fresh coach either. He reruns through his coaches. That's what I meant, his assistant coaches, like his coordinators and stuff like that. There's nothing fresh there. He's rerunning through his stuff. He hasn't built this roster very well. And when it comes to the offensive weapons, like wide receivers, they notoriously haven't drafted well when it comes to that. Robert Kraft is getting impatient with the amount of foolish blunders that are due to Belichick. That is a fact. They appear unable to adjust to the times. Am I lying? No. And Mac didn't play well, but this hoopla, look at his situation right now. Bill O'Brien, he showed some promise, but he's looking like Bob. The defense is hurt. Belichick is making dumb dunce decisions on both sides of the ball. They need a reset. He gotta go. I didn't think we would get here about Bill Belichick. Excuse my stumbling over my words. Like I said, it's 9:30 at night. Belichick gotta go. Period. The Dallas Cowboys. Bottom line. Here's the thing about Dallas. People understand now because Arizona done did it, and then what Arizona showed, the 49ers did it a whole lot better. If you can punch them in the mouth and out-bully them, they'll fold like a lawn chair. They are front runners. Dak is who I know who him to be. Really. You got beat down. Dak throws 3 picks. He threw 3 picks. Excuse me. They got vastly out-physicaled, and they're not going to the Super Bowl. I don't know how many times we got to say that. I already got on Michael Parsons, and they talk too much. Mainly Micah, but they be puffing on their own cigar too much. They cannot stop the run. They're not very good at stopping the run when it's an offense that can move. You can run right at them. And, of course, Trayvon Diggs being done for the year is going to affect that. So, they do all of this yik-yakking to have a very conservative and stagnant offense because Dak throws picks like we saw Sunday or Monday or whenever it was, and you have to lean on the defense. We don't get CeeDee Lamb the ball very often, and we don't get Tony Pollard the ball very often. We're wasting the prime of some of these offensive linemen. The play calling is absolutely questionable. Dak in his decision making has been questionable. What Super Bowl are we going to here? I mean, do I need to break it down any further? I don't think so. Next, Russell Wilson has become a scapegoat. Zach Wilson has become a scapegoat. But that was last week's episode. This week, I'm honing in on Russ. Because he played a heck of a lot better than how he's played last year. Now, granted, Thursday night happened. I can't take that back. Prior to Thursday, he hadn't turned the ball over very much. He had numbers similar to Mahomes without as many turnovers. The games were close. He was doing some things right. They were moving up and down the field. The defense is horrible. The defense is about as porous as paper mache. He can't play defense as well. It's downright trash minus Patrick Surtain. And this team is not coached very well. He can't play defense and he can't be a head coach. Russell Wilson is becoming a scapegoat for the downright dysfunction that's going down in Denver. There's a piece of alliteration right there. Okay, let's go through some of this week's injuries. And then we'll go through my week 5 analysis of some of these teams and how they've gone. How they've performed and what I think. Justin Jefferson is headed to injured reserve. Anthony Richardson is headed to injured reserve with no set timetable for return. Devon Achane is headed to injured reserve. Lord. James Conner heads to injured reserve. Travis Kelce is nursing an ankle injury that has hampered him a little bit. When it comes to the Colts, I feel like we'll get into my picks for this week. Them not having Anthony Richardson might affect that. It's gonna definitely affect them. But they're playing the Jags, so that's hard. Justin Jefferson being gone will give Minnesota a chance to evaluate Jordan Addison. It'll give him a chance to grow and step into his own. I don't know. Miami, they're going to be able to run the ball. They'll be fine. Arizona is Arizona, so there's that. And with a wide receiver room that's sorely lacking at times, that's very inconsistent, having Travis Kelce not be at 100% is not very smart. But I digress. Let's go into Week 5's analysis. Let's start with the New York Jets. Zach Wilson is playing better and he's playing smarter. Ladies and gentlemen, I said Zach Wilson is playing smart. Breece Hall is revving up. He's starting to get his touches. That defense stood up the whole game, especially in the fourth quarter. They let Russ kind of run around and kind of play magician for a little bit, and then they clamped down and made him play quarterback right now, and he can't do it. And that's how they got the ball a whole bunch of times. They felt like they were getting worn down. I felt like they were getting worn down from the previous 2 games. But they took this personal. Like I said, Sean Payton took a shot at Nathaniel Hackett, who is the offensive coordinator for the Jets. Now, I want to say something like this. The Jets were very good on third down. Granted, the Broncos' defense is porous as a piece of Swiss cheese, but they were very efficient on third downs. I know that Zach wants that pick back, but he did not play that bad. He's been playing well. And actually, he's shown us that he can play conservative and he can play aggressive. He can play smart doing both. So I like the upside. People have been ragging on Zach Wilson for so long that I'm starting to root for the man. We get it. The 49ers. Brock Purdy is him. He's definitely an MVP candidate. He's a very smart player. He has the arm, contrary to some people's belief. He made Dallas look silly. He throws people open. He's smart. The 49ers are clearly the best team in football. They're very physical in the trenches and with their linebackers, i.e. Fred Warner, and their backups are physical. As a whole, this team does not leave no stone untouched. They don't leave a blade of grass untouched. They don't leave nothing. They have multiple players that are explosive and can do multiple things on the field, i.e. a Debo, a Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey. This team is pretty much a walking Swiss Army knife. They're going to give it to you each and every way. I could have worded that a little better, but it is what it is. They can spread it out. They can run it multiple ways, attack the middle and the outside. This team, albeit if they can stay healthy, NFC Championship game or Super Bowl, they're still in this year. The Denver Broncos are a dumpster fire from top to bottom. Sean Payton has not done a good job managing the whole team, the defense especially. You used to blame Russ a lot, but it was him. It's literally his fault. Your defense is Pat Surtain and a pack of chips. Again, Russ is not the huge issue at this point. Everything else is. And I wrote these notes prior to Thursday. Well, Russ is a part of the problem too. I will admit that right now. Your offensive line is terrible. You got questionable play calling. They're actively unloading talent, which doesn't signify good things at all. Next, Dallas. The Cowgirls. For the final time, like I said earlier, they won't be winning a Super Bowl with Dak. They need to improve on the other side of CeeDee Lamb. I don't know what Michael Gallup is doing. I don't know what Brandon Cook is doing. I don't know what it is, but Brandon Cook has gotten 1,000 yards for the past 4 years, and he isn't doing much. Michael Gallup isn't doing much. I don't think it's their talent. I think it's the person that's tasked on getting them the ball. That vaulted run defense that we talked about, that they improved, it's been getting exposed. If we're being completely honest, Micah Parsons has been neutralized. That pass rush has been neutralized because they can't stop the run. McCarthy's offense is conservative and outdated. Probably he's calling the games like this because he doesn't trust Dak. There's that. And from one team in the division to another, we're talking about the Giants. This is a travesty of a football team. If we're being completely honest, this is the travesty of the NFL. But everything but your running game is either subpar or horrible. I don't blame Dable either. The talent he has right now is really not conducive to winning consistently and really winning at all. They overpaid Daniel Jones. Their offensive line is absolutely trash. Tackling is objective and clearly not mandatory. Their secondary needs help. Like the Giants and their receivers. I know a few Giants fans that like to get on me about my receivers, but what about yours? How are your receivers looking now? I think I'd rather have DeAndre Hopkins and Nick Westbrook-Ikine over whatever they have in New York. If we're being completely honest, minus Jalen Hyatt. I will be honest about that. Next, we got the New England Patriots. I was holding on for so much hope for this team. Everything is not Mac Jones' fault. You can't blame him for everything. Granted, he did not play very well, but that offensive line is not blocking very well, not protecting him. He's turning the ball over. Your defense is racking up injuries. Your offense can't get anything going due to not having a more modern offense. Excuse me, I'm getting off my words are kind of messed up. A more modern offense. And it's very much due to the lack of weapons that can separate. Coaching decisions and questionable decisions has plagued this team. Mac Jones' confidence is pretty much done for. Or for right now. Down and out right now. And receivers cannot separate. I could go out there and separate better than that and run a route. My Chihuahua can do better than that. And I love Kendrick Bourne. But this team is on dysfunction alert because I think Robert Kraft is getting a little impatient. Next, we got the Minnesota Vikings. They're finally returning back to form. Defense has improved, but not by much. You're wasting your young talent's prime with Kirk Cousins at quarterback. Justin Jefferson is banged up. He's going to be gone for the next 4 weeks. We'll give Jordan Addison many more opportunities to stretch the field. Kirk Cousins the trade rumors make no sense to me. It's ridiculous. Riddle me this. Who wants that? Who was going to trade for Kirk Cousins? The Jets make no sense because we already know that they're sticking with Zach Wilson. Why would they do to Zach Wilson, even though they already did it, what the Patriots are doing to Mac Jones? Which is killing his confidence. The man is building his confidence. Going to get Kirk Cousins will pretty much destroy it, and it don't make any sense because you just got Aaron Rodgers. Zach just has to play smart. I'm just addressing those rumors. Zach Wilson just has to play smart. And the Jets can salvage something of the season. What is that something? I don't know. But when it comes to New England, they're not going to be able to salvage anything because their coach is stuck in their ways. And not New England, the Vikings. Oh, yeah. But the trade rumors. Kirk Cousins. I got completely off track. It doesn't make any sense because As far as the Vikings are concerned, they might still have a chance. And why would they trade away their starting quarterback, which will mess up the entire locker room and organization? Who would want Kirk Cousins? Who wants that? Why would the Jets? That's why I was talking about New England. Why would the Jets trade for Kirk Cousins and destroy the confidence that Zach Wilson has built up? Why would they do that? The Vikings are what they are. The defense is on the rise, but they're not there yet. And the one thing I don't like about the Vikings is that they have fumbleitis. They're not throwing picks like that. They can't kick the ball off the ground and out the other team's hand. Their ball security is horrible. And I know that they had to stop a practice this week because Kevin O'Connell is tired of the fumbles and he got a little rough and excessive with it, and Alexander Madison is hurt. Well, so be it. Hold on to the ball. And there's that. And then we have the Washington Commanders. Once again, hot seat alert for Ron Rivera. And here's the thing. Sam Howell and Eric Bieniemy look decent. The team as a whole doesn't look good at all. Their defense did not stop much of anything this game. This team continues to come out flat and then wake up. Just wait until the offseason. Changes will be made. I bet you that. Now, we're going to talk about the Bears. Justin Fields has been cooking for the past few quarters. Him and DJ Moore are establishing a true quarterback to wide receiver connection. Like, we're seeing it now. The defense and the offensive line still leave a lot to be desired, but it's more cohesive right now. Eberflus is buying himself some time. They showed a really put together game, and they've been playing very well for the past 2 weeks. I'm very proud of them because they've looked horrible for 3. The Detroit Lions. This team is in fact legit. One of the best offensive lines in the league. The way they run the ball, it's elite. It's intricate. Jared Goff has also played very well. That defense, they got Carolina to turn the ball over a lot, especially when it comes to Aiden Hutchinson and company. Sam Laporta has emerged as one of the top hot players, upcoming players. The Bengals, they're back to form versus the Cardinals. Granted, the Cardinals, they're not very talented right now, but they can score, and they're very scrappy. They're just not that good. Jamar Chase had himself a day with 15 receptions, 192 yards, 3 touchdowns, yada, yada, yada. Their defense leaves a lot to be desired as of right now. They lost Jesse Bates and Von Bell, and it's like the roof fell out. They're having issues with stopping the run and keeping the plays in front of them. So, the Raiders. I feel like I've just been talking, because I have. But regardless, it's 10 o'clock. I might be a little tired, but, you know. The Raiders. The defense finally got to bail Jimmy G and the offense out. Jimmy G is currently leading the league in interceptions. He ain't it, and Josh McDaniels is stupid for getting rid of Carr for a worse version of Carr. Jimmy G, leading the league in interceptions with 7. Your offensive line is not that good. They're struggling to run the ball at times. They needed to win. But Garoppolo was going to give this game away, if we're being honest. Atlanta Falcons. This team is really inconsistent. When they play in Atlanta, they play very well. When they don't, it's a completely different team. Desmond Ridder still ain't it in my eye. I'm done on him. I'm out. I'm cold. I don't care if he goes on an MVP type run. I'm done with him. He still ain't it. He's just as, if not more, inconsistent, if we're being honest. And the defense is playing well as it has in a few years. My Titans are very inconsistent, and I'm very sick and tired of it. Like, we didn't stop the run very well once again. My secondary, Christian Fulton, getting on my nerve. Treylon Burks is a mild irritant. I can't. I mean, I feel like we're going to get it together, but I need it to stop. I need the inconsistency to stop when it comes to my team, if we're being completely honest. Now, we're going into my week 6 picks. We got Ravens, Titans. Of course, I'm going to choose the Titans. Commanders, Falcons. I'm going to choose the Falcons for whatever reason. I have a gut feeling. Seahawks, Bengals, that's going to be an easy. Bengals. And now, if the defense don't tighten up, it could be a Seahawks game. But I have the Bengals. Colts, Jags. I hope for a tie, and I hope they don't score. But I have the Jags winning this game because the Colts don't have Anthony Richardson. Dolphins, Panthers. I got the Dolphins. That's just too much firepower for the Panthers to contain and try to go blow for blow. Vikings, Bears. The smart pick would be the Vikings, but I'm going to go Bears here because the Vikings can't keep the ball off the ground, and Justin Fields is playing very well, and they don't have Justin Jefferson, and this team could look a little different. So, who knows? We got Saints, Texans. No. We got 49ers, Browns. Browns don't have Deshaun Watson. Automatically, I'm taking the 49ers because that's a buzzsaw right there that the Browns are running into. The Browns don't have Deshaun Watson. We know it's a different team when they have Deshaun Watson and when they don't. Saints, Texans. I think the Texans could pull this off. I'm not a Derek Carr person. I'm not a Dennis Allen person. I feel like the Saints will cost themselves this game. Patriots, Raiders. I'm going to pick the Raiders, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots ran the table with them either. So, there's that. Lions, Bucks. I got the Lions. They look thoroughly like they should be clear-cut favorite over this team, the Buccaneers team, because I don't trust Baker Mayfield when it comes to quality when he plays quality defenses, if we're being honest. Cardinals, Rams. I have the Rams winning that. Now, this could be a fight. Because the Cardinals, they have been fighting all year. It's not like they've been rolling over and accepting the fact that they've been bad. No. Those boys come each week ready to play. But I'm going to have the Rams. Eagles, Jets. I have the Eagles winning this game, but if the Jets defense could disrupt something in Philly, it could be very interesting. Giants, Bills. I have the Bills. The Giants will be just Bill fodder because the Giants aren't good at all. There's that. And Cowboys, Chargers. I want to say I really, really want to pick the Chargers. Here's the thing, though. Brandon Staley's their head coach. I'm not sold on Brandon Staley. I think he doesn't need to be a head coach. Quite frankly, I don't think he's that smart. I don't think he's that defensively guru'd. I don't think he's a defensive genius. I don't think he's a genius of any type of thing. I don't think he needs to be coaching the Chargers. I think he's wasting people's times and primes. So that's the reason why I picked the Cowboys. Now, if the Cowboys lose this game, we're going to have some issues to talk about. Blink, blink. Now, we are for we're here for our Jori's Jacked Up Tiers Week 6. Week 6. So, in J-Dub's Juggernauts, our top tiers, we have our Philadelphia Eagles, of course, the 49ers, of course, the Detroit Lions, the Dolphins, and the Bengals. In the Just Can't Miss Them crew, we got the Los Angeles Rams. We have the Seattle Seahawks, the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs, the New Orleans Saints, the Dallas Cowgirls, and the Minnesota Vikings, even though I feel like the Vikings need to be in the junkyard crew. But that's neither here or there. And then we have Jori's Jump Starts. We have my Titans, the Falcons, the Jaguars, the Texans, the Cardinals, the Commanders, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Indianapolis Colts, the New York Giants. No, not the New York Giants. Those are the junkyards. The New York Jets, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears, Los Angeles Chargers. They're only this low and not a part of the Just Can't Miss Them crew because I don't like Staley at all. And we got our junkyard crew. We got the New York Giants, the New England Patriots. But how long has it been since everybody's putting the Patriots at the bottom of their list? It's been a minute. The Patriots, the Denver Broncos, and the Las Vegas Raiders. They won last week because of the defense, not because of Jimmy G. This is still a bad team if we're being completely honest. Y'all know the drill. Thank y'all for listening to part 1 of today's episode of Jori Sports Stories. As always, I'm your host, Jori. And if you liked what you heard today, share the podcast and let's grow the audience. If you're listening via YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and hit the subscribe button. Helps me out, lets me know I'm doing something right. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode or the next episode. That's part 2 as we get into NBA on Sunday as I watch football. But regardless, also catch me over on Sports Empire Network every Saturday at 5 p.m. for Hoop Dreams and Touchdown Queens. And just go check out the variety of sports shows over there. I'm also on the Coffee and Sports Morning Show on Wednesdays. So, great program, great selection of shows, and yeah. Thanks again for listening to me today, and I'll see y'all next week.